Welcome to the Caribbean Insight Magazine, your number one contemporary online publication in the Caribbean. Dive into the veiled corners of our region from the voices of the diaspora when you read our magazine. Find a place to shop all things Caribbean at our newly launched e-commerce store. Join the conversation at our latest webinar series. For more information, visit mycaribbeaninsight.com today or give us a call at 723-8102.
This evening, Jamal Joseph, as we begin our four-part webinar series titled Health and Wellness in the Caribbean, covering four topics: physical fitness, nutrition in the Caribbean, lifestyle and mental health. This is all brought to you courtesy Caribbean Insight online magazine, your source for the inside scoop on the various cultural expressions, ideas, and activities that make up life for your fellow islanders and appeal to Caribbean lovers all over the world. To explore this content, we have a prestigious panel of professionals ready to speak at length. However, before we enter into today's topic, I must inform everyone that one of the members of this esteemed panel, Shane Cooper, strength and conditioning coach for West Indies Cricket, is scheduled to join us very shortly. However, there was an unexpected issue concerning sporting responsibilities with the West Indies cricket team. He did indicate that he would be able to join shortly, and so we look forward to him joining soon. I encourage all questions from viewers to be directed as messages in the chat room, and that way your question is written down so you will not forget your question. Also, I do expect the conversation to generate a lot of interest, so we will entertain as much questions as possible with regards to time allowances. Okay, and I see Shane Cooper has joined us, so we're in luck. Now let's dive straight into it, no more sticking. Allow me to introduce our illustrious panel. Firstly, the very informative Dr. Karen Ince. Dr. Ince, please share a little with us about your area of expertise on the topic at hand.
Okay, so my name is Karen Ince. I am an assistant professor at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, Center for Kinesiology, Physical Education and Sport. I am what is called a sport pedagogist, meaning pedagogist is coming from the word pedagogy, and pedagogy simply is the science of teaching. So what I do is simply teach people how to teach. And those people that I teach are physical education and sports teachers and coaches who are in training. So my job essentially is one where I deliver courses that are centered on philosophy, history, curriculum issues, and all those things that are related to physical education and sport, the theory of physical education and sport, theories of learning, theories of education, as well as adapted programs to meet the diverse group of learners and that sort of thing. So it has been my pleasure to do this job for the last 4 or 5 years or so at the university. And I have to say that the University of Trinidad and Tobago is the sole organization that is responsible for training physical education teachers for the secondary school system in Trinidad and Tobago. So that is where I sit.
Excellent, excellent. Excellent contribution there, Dr. Ince. Thank you very much for that. Next on the panel, I'll allow Mr. Shane Cooper, who was fortunate enough to be able to join at this point in time. Please, Shane, share with us your area of expertise on the topic of physical fitness.
Good evening, everybody. As Jamal said, my name is Shane Cooper, and I am what we refer to as a sport performance coach or strength and conditioning coach. If I want to take that even more simple, they refer to me as a fitness trainer by many standards. I would work for the West Indies senior women's team, as well as I have my own business, Altis Performance, which have a focus in sport performance, training young athletes and senior athletes, as well as elite athletes in sport performance and sport development. Regardless, that is not to take away from the fact that I also work with GPs, which are referred to as the general public. So I kind of cover both ends of the spectrum, working with both people who want to live a healthier lifestyle, in addition to those who want to get better and increase their performance in sports, whether it be speed, power, athleticism, agility, strength, you name it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Cooper. That was enlightening. And now we move on to our third feature speaker on the panel, Ms. Fadwa Abdul Ghafoor. Please share with us all the information on this topic that you have and enlighten us further.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fadwa Abdul Ghafoor. I'm a registered dietitian as well as a yoga practitioner. I've been practicing yoga since 2013 while I was doing martial arts. Yoga has been one of my favorite cross fitness training. It has helped me greatly when I was a martial artist. There are like 13 different types of yoga, and this evening we'll be going through all of that to see how yoga can fit into your fitness training and be very beneficial for the athletes.
Excellent, excellent. So we have a nice mixed combination on this panel here. Practical, theoretical, strength, flexibility. We have a nice mix. At this moment, I'd like to invite Dr. Ince, seeing her experience in pedagogy. That's a tongue twister for me. I don't know if it's for anybody else, but I practiced saying that a few times. So Dr. Ince, could you please elaborate some more on physical fitness in the Caribbean? Could you share some insight with us?
What I could say is this, based on my experience for over the past 30 odd years as a physical education teacher, physical fitness has not really been a priority for many of the youths in the Caribbean, and that is quite regrettable. And I am not sure that it is because young persons are not aware of the benefits of physical education, but perhaps it is more some cultural practices that have gotten in the way of young people leaning more towards becoming their best physical self. But there are several benefits of being physically fit. And some of those I would outline would be, you will be involved in developing yourself as a person who is big on lifestyle, activity lifestyle, which is something that is going to take you to having a longer life, a healthier life, longer lifespan with the less occurrence of illness and especially non-communicable diseases. So from my observation in secondary schools, I would say at a healthy 20 to 30%, perhaps even higher, of the entrance to the secondary school, at least when I was there, was young persons at the brink of morbid obesity, and that is not an encouraging sign at all. So it is a case where it seems as though coming from the homes, physical fitness had not been prioritized, nor proper diet, nor healthy lifestyle, healthy practices. So based on that, we are seeing the outflow of that right now, where we look across the span of our youthful population and we are seeing high levels of obesity. And that is very, very regrettable. So yeah, if this forum could in some way address that and help to redirect young people's activities and their actions into something that is more beneficial, it will be a worthwhile endeavor.
Wow, excellent contribution again. That certainly left a lot of questions in my mind, and we will certainly return to some of what you said there, Dr. Ince, because it's really critical information that you relayed there. At this point, I would like to move on to Mr. Shane Cooper to see if he could also shed some light on the physical fitness arena, whether in sport or in general, because as a member of the West Indies cricket team, I know he would have some experience in other places around the region. So Shane, take it away.
Hey everybody. Well, first of all, let me apologize if I get anybody seasick while on this call, because I will be moving around a lot. As Jamal said, working in these systems is very organic, and we had a change in schedule as we prepare for a tour, an upcoming tour. That being said, I really, Dr. Ince, you're a hard one to follow with that explanation you just put in. How I would want to add to that is definitely that in this current world, whether you're an athlete or, as I have referred to before, part of the general public, we have gone from a very sedentary, from a very active and functional lifestyle to a very sedentary lifestyle. And what that means is we went from going to the beach and playing football and cricket and bathing in the water to going on the beach, sitting down, drinking beers, on our phones, taking pictures of our knees. And that is basically what it is right now. That is our entire life. I just basically gave you all one landscape, but this happens over and over throughout. As a result, we are very movement deficient.
That's right.
And what I mean by that is when we do screens with athletes, we do what we call a movement screen. And this is where we test on athletes or persons' movement literacy. So just how you go to school to read and write, people are now coming to specialists such as myself to learn how to move again. And this is not about just making athletes getting six packs and biceps, but making functional individuals that are able to have fluent movement to be able to enjoy life and enjoy what they want to do in life, whether it's play football or run down their grandkids.
Thank you very much, Shane. That was also edifying because I can agree wholeheartedly, and you know we share similar views on physical fitness. So I'll leave that right there just to move on to Fatwa Abdul Ghafoor. Please, I love saying your whole name. I hope you excuse it. It has a nice ring to it, right? But with regard to physical fitness, could you please give us your take?
Thank you very much, Jamal. And you actually did pronounce the entire thing very correctly. Thank you so much for that. I have to build on what Dr. Ince as well as Shane spoke about, because when it comes to the youth, I mean, in my practice, I see a lot of young people being overweight and not into physical activity. Given the age of technology, we have now moved away from playing outside, climbing a tree, running down the neighbor's dogs and these kind of things. And now we are thumb warriors. The only thing we exercise in are our thumbs, because we are into a lot of video games and text messaging and these kind of things, and not enough fitness. When it comes to endurance, we see that there's a lot of issues with a lot of young people being able to endure a lot of exercises and go the distance, because one, they are not conditioned right. Two, they lack a lot of flexibility. And three, their diet, as Dr. Ince said at the beginning, and it's very, very important. And I know we'll come to that discussion later down in the webinar series. It's so important to, state that exercise is very important to maintain a healthy form of living way into your 90s. Because I mean, when I remember my grandfather, and he used to be out in the garden, I mean, that level of physical activity ensure that he lived to see 100. And if we look at the current trend of our young people who are not into a lot of physical activity, I mean, right now we're in a situation where we are not going outside, as Shane says, we no longer have access to the beaches and these kind of things. But that does not mean that we don't have access to doing some physical movement. You know, basically getting up from the chair, doing some squats, moving around. There are so many YouTube videos available. Of course, with the advice of a doctor, because I wouldn't advise anybody to start anything new without consulting your physician. There are so many things available to us to keep us moving within this time when we are locked up inside and, you know, without the breathing and these kind of things. And I think I need to bring in that part. Jamal, if I'm going over my time, please let me know. There is so much to say for breathing correctly, especially when you're doing your exercises. It does wonders to the body and to your workout. So I'll just stop there for now.
You know, because this topic is really so broad, it's only expected, or the word I like to use, expectable, that you would want to really fully delve into it 100. So it's not a problem. What I will do is I will adapt to your speech patterns and see how much we could suss out, because, you know, as much as people might think an hour and a half or so is long, that's really short to try to discuss all the elements of physical fitness and how it could impact us and how it could improve our lives in so many different arenas, right? So speaking about impacting our lives, I see we have a question from Anthony Cole. And his question, I will perhaps address it, well, to any one of the members of the panel. The question states, do exercise routines, just now, pause, sorry. Right. Do exercise routines need to be tailor-based? And he's now referring to body types and all that. So I'm hoping someone could explore the answer here, because he also wants to know what set of exercises is best for the individual and their goals. And so please, Dr. Ince, Shane, Fadwa, please join in.
Yeah, I think Shane is best to answer this one.
Thank you, Dr. Ince. Well, based on Anthony's question, you have to realize that people differ not just in body types, but in hormonal balances. And this is something when we speak about fitness trainers, a lot of fitness trainers are not aware of or have not studied the importance of the hormones on how your body retains water, how you lose fat, how you take in fat, caloric deficiencies, whether you're in a surplus or deficit, vitamins, minerals, all these kind of things that come into play. But taking all that out of the equation, I am not a believer of, and when I am assuming when he says body type, he's speaking about the usual mesomorph, endomorph, ectomorph scenario that most fitness trainers group everybody into. I'm not a big fan of those. I don't believe in it. Research has shown it does not really have that much of an effect on the type of training you do. What you really have to look at is what your body requires. Are you an endurance athlete or are you a strength athlete? Where do you feel comfortable, and then stepping out of that comfort zone. So not just sticking with an exercise because you prefer it or you like it, but coming out of your comfort zone. So if you don't like doing core, do more core work, because that is where your body is weak and that is where you need to improve. If you like to do a set of bench press, but you can't do a pull-up, you need to start doing some pull-ups. You know, so that will be my advice to any individual that is going down that road. It is not about how people say your body type. Now, if we're talking about, as Dr. Ince said, if you're obese versus if you're severely underweight, that's a different story altogether. Because if you're obese, then you will need to do more endurance and strength endurance type exercises rather than power and speed type exercises, just because your tendons and your muscles and your bone structures are not ready for it. Whereas if you're underweight, we want to do more absolute strength work to also increase your bone density, but you cannot do too much because we do not know what the deficiency is. If it's a mineral deficiency that could cause further bone damage or structural damage. So Jamal, as you just rightfully said, these are some issues that cannot necessarily be covered in full in an hour and a half. But to keep it general, Anthony and everybody who's listening, and as Fadwa and Dr. Ince have alluded to, just be active. Do some form of exercise. Get moving. You don't have to start with sprint, squats, CrossFit. Just get moving and watch the plate. That's all.
Excellent.
Could I briefly add to that?
Sure, I welcome that.
I think the issue of goal setting is very, very important. At whatever stage you are, you ought to approach a fitness endeavor, a fitness program, or whatever, with a particular goal. For example, you might be walking a 2K in, let us say, 10 or 15 minutes. Try to walk the 2K now in 12 minutes. Or you might have a weight of 170 pounds. Your goal could be, I want to reach down to 160 pounds. And if you give that information to your trainer or to your personal trainer, whatever, to your SNC coach as Shane is, then that person can tailor something to suit you. So it all depends on where you are. Evidently, the person who asked this question probably is already an athlete. So you will have your particular set of goals. But there are those of us who want to now start off and try to turn ourselves into our best fitness self. You have to start with a particular goal. So goal setting is very, very, very important. And goal setting has to include, one, the fitness regime, what it is you are going to do while you're exercising to attain the goal, as well as what is going to be on my plate and the frequency of within which I'm going to be eating and the frequency within which I'm going to be exercising. All those things are part of the whole puzzle. So goal setting, start at that stage and things will go from there.
Extremely well put.
Jamal, if I can add here, because I mean I love the flow of this conversation right now. Sure. And when we talk about body type, the thing that jumps into my mind is your health status, because we know right now there's a lot of different conditions coming up, especially amongst females. So we have to take into consideration their health status at the point in time in starting a physical fitness regimen. For example, there may be some people, some of their conditions may not allow for high intensity exercises. So you have to tailor it to suit their body's needs, and they have to listen to what your body is telling you, because some people may push their body to the limit, believing that they could be like the next athlete, but not understanding that your body needs something different in order to achieve the same goal. So you have to now tailor your fitness regimen to suit that. And I love the way that Shane put it as well, because you have to know about nutrition and these kind of things to add. Because what comes to my mind as well is the female athlete triad, because sometimes when they push themselves to the limit, they kind of mess up a lot of their hormones, especially when you go and you take a lot of protein powders and other sports adaptogens and these kind of things that kind of change the way the body functions. So then now you would have to change up your routine and understanding that your body always gets accustomed to one exercise routine all the time. So that is why I am such an advocate for cross fitness. So you change up your routine ever so often, so that your body now wouldn't become adaptable to the one routine that you have been doing and quote unquote become bored after a while and you're not getting no gains. So that's my input for this segment.
Wonderful. And I must mention that since we've been speaking here, I've heard the mention of hormones a number of times, which I guess no matter how expert this panel is, it is incumbent on the viewers, those listening, those who want to practice physical fitness. Once you see hormones involved, it's clearly something that requires professional advice. So, we would always recommend, you speak to your doctor, you speak to physiotherapists, you speak to strength and training coaches like Shane Cooper, right? You speak to your yoga practitioners, you speak to your pedagogists. I'm getting the hang of that word, right? But you know, all that is important. We need to make sure that we apply the right information from professionals. And so going from that area of the topic, dealing with getting professional information, I want to also engage this question from Andy Joseph, right? Which it would overlap on what we were speaking about there just now, but he wanted to know about the relationship between maintaining physical fitness, nutritional health, and aging. So I don't know if Fadwa would want to go ahead and contribute some more, because he mentioned nutrition in it. Fadwa?
Nutrition is impossible throughout your life stages. So when you are a youth, your body would need different things to function at that capacity. So as you get older, your body will require either more or less of something in order to maintain your physical fitness. A youthful body will produce certain hormones that will give them the edge and the drive and all of these things. But as we get older, our body's metabolism tends to slow down a bit. So we need to now look at having different things in the diet that will cater for all of this. So we can't go now as somebody in their 50s or 60s and chug down a protein powder or something that has too much protein that's needed for your body, or add a lot of excess calcium that will not benefit you at that age. So you now have to include different things pertaining to your life cycle, and the best person that you have to talk to, you have to work along with a team. So it's not just you alone battling. You have to get the professional advice, because they will now assess you based on your age, your sex, your whatever activity that you're in, your diet regimen, your meal timings. All these things will tie into being able to allow you now to perform at the point that you need to perform. So, and it's so important to take care of your body now while you are young, so that when you are older, your body will just continue to condition itself based on what you put into the body.
Yeah,
So,
just a little thing I wanted to add to what Fadwa is saying there.
Yes, Dr. Ince.
The doctors have found that rates of recovery, resistance to diseases, and recovery from surgery and things like osteoarthritis and osteoporosis, those things are determined way before you actually get it done when you get older. They are determined by what you do in your life in the early years of your life. So if a person has now grown old and decides that you want to drink a whole bunch of milk to stave off the effects of osteoporosis, that is not going to happen. Bone density is what determines that. So if the practices aren't put in, if the work is not going in at this age here where you all are, young people, if it's not put in then you are not building that foundation for recovery from surgery down the road, for preventing things like Alzheimer's and osteoarthritis and osteoporosis and all those degenerative things that come on when you get older. So what happens when you get older is determined by what we do now as youngsters.
Yes, and Dr. Ince, that's so correct. And I want to add to that, because I know young people at this age, when they're active and their hormones are raging, they may become sexually active earlier, and they may go on like birth control earlier, not understanding that birth control used continuously over a number of years leads to osteoporosis, because it diminishes your bone density. And this now will affect your performance. It will increase a lot of possibility for bone breakage. And then when you get older, it's difficult for your bones to heal. So you could drink so much amount of milk you could want to drink when you're older and you break your bones. It would take longer to heal. And especially when it comes to muscle damage and ligament damage, it would take longer to heal if you don't put in the work and the nutrition when you're young now.
Okay, excellent.
Jamal, I just had to say I had to make a quick turn. I'll try to rejoin as soon as I can. I think Father and Dr. Ince definitely got this. I was in a bit.
Someone had a question directed specifically to you, so if they could return, that'd be great as well.
I shall answer it on my return.
Okay, lovely.
All right, cool.
Right. Now, I see the answers have been very comprehensive. That's excellent. And because it is so well tied in the relationship between nutrition and physical fitness, you would find that we bouncing back and forth and back and forth. But I really want to hone in this particular episode on the physical fitness, because we will no doubt mention nutrition in all the webinar series, the entire webinar series. We will be talking about nutrition, talking about diets, but I really want those out there because there are a lot of people who possibly uncertain. So for example, some people uncertain what is the right amount of activity that could fill the criteria for being physically fit. You know, we spoke about obesity, but there might be some people with a certain amount of fat on their body, but they're physically fit. So I don't know if Dr. Ince, you could, mention someone that with regards to the physical fitness and how it relates to how people could, determine their level of fitness.
Repeat the question again. I was reading in the chat. Yeah, just repeat the question again there, please, Jamal. Sorry.
That's not a problem. Basically, I was just saying that you have physical fitness as something that we are guiding and advising people of.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would not be fully aware of what criteria to fill, or what constitutes being physically fit. So if you could elaborate on that, it would be great.
A blanket definition, if you look up any definition, if you combine 2 or 3 definitions, it will tell you that physical fitness is a feeling. It is a feeling of well-being that arises from the ability to perform all your daily tasks comfortably and still have enough energy to participate in something recreational and to meet an emergency if one arises. So the ability to perform one's daily functions comfortably, whatever that function is. If you are a nurse or you're a dietitian or you're a teacher, whatever that function is, you have the ability to perform that function sufficiently and participate in something recreational at the end of that day and still have enough gas and steam to meet an emergency should one arise. And that is the definition for physical fitness. So a person now in this particular webinar, you could think about yourself. Where are you in that whole conversation? Am I physically fit? Do I get tired very quickly? Do I have surplus energy at the end of my work day, whatever that work constitutes? Do I have sufficient energy? Do I have additional energy? And all those things are things that you must talk with yourself and reason with yourself to see if you are physically fit. Also, you want to look at things like endurance. Do you have muscular endurance? If you lift something, would your hands buckle under the weight? Do you have cardiorespiratory endurance? Could you walk up a step without feeling winded? I remember Dr. Fuad Khan was talking about the effects of COVID on the cardiorespiratory system. And he was saying, if you have difficulty walking up the step, and you have the flu-like symptoms, chances are you need to go and get a test. Or if you cannot speak a sentence in one breath, a long sentence in one breath, and you have to take in puffs of air to speak one sentence, then you have the symptoms, probably you need to go and get tested. So it's things like this. You know that you are physically fit if you can climb up steps and you are not extremely winded. You know that you are physically fit if you can run after your dog to catch something from him and you can return without feeling winded. There are many little things that you can do to see and to determine if you are physically fit, and that will give you a starting point as to where you need to be later on in life.
That is a very, very concise and well explained answer, Dr. Ince. Thank you very much for that. So I have another question here. It's from Kareem Rice, and
Yes.
we're leaning again towards the nutrition, but it's also referring to physical fitness. He wants to know, what tip would you give vegans and vegetarians to gain muscle? I don't know if Fadwa or Dr. Inns would want to adjust. This was really, it looks
That is
like
definitely
something.
Fadwa. That's Fadwa.
Okay, Fadwa could attempt and give some information, but I'll keep that in the back pocket for when Shane returns if he has to add it.
Yes, this is definitely my area. And as much as we're trying to get away from the whole nutrition talk, it's coming right back, because nutrition is like the center point of fitness, because nothing can happen. As Dr. Inns said before we started to roll, you cannot build abs just like that, doing sit-ups and all these different things. You have to include nutrition in it. And I know there's a great challenge for vegans, especially when it comes to building muscle mass. But I have had the experience of helping a vegan gain mass by using a lot of plant protein. So you have to know how to balance. You have to know the type of plant protein you're going to include in their diet. And you have to know what other protein supplements are available that will help them with their gains, as well as what could help their body push in order to, help the muscle be flexible enough to gain mass. So you really have to see a dietitian who would tailor it to suit the type of exercise you're going to use, because whether you're going to do a lot of cardio will burn. So you have to actually eat. In a case like this, you have to always eat more calories in order to burn that, in order to gain muscle. It's a whole process. You may find that you're eating a lot in the beginning, but you actually have to put in the calories in order to begin to shred. But as for vegans, as I said, you have to look for the high biological protein source within the plant world that will help them with the gains that they have to do, and as well as add the relevant supplements to the diet. Timings and everything is so important, especially before, during, and after for recovery, which will help the body continue to build after you have finished the exercise. So it's not difficult for a vegan to gain lots of muscles.
Thank you very much. That is excellent information there again. And personally, I would say I'm a fan of broccoli, lentil peas. I'll allow you to talk more about nutrition, but there are sources, protein sources, a lot, I'm thinking of, and also chickpeas, so there are a lot of sources. So I guess we would have somewhere for persons to contact Fadwa thereafter or hereafter to be able to get more information along the lines of nutrition and in general physical fitness and health. I see we have a long question here. I'll try to summarize it. They really referring to obesity and obesity rate, and overweight, right? So they really wanted to know, based on the increasing childhood obesity rates, right? They believe it's a worrying trend, and they would like to know what the thoughts from the panel with regards to addressing obesity in general. Dr. Inns, I don't know if you'd like to take this one and try to, yeah.
That's a very, very difficult one, because I remember, and I will just do an anecdotal thing here. I remember before gyms had closed down, my gym, my trainer at that time, she had a very obese child as one of her clients. And the parent, and this child was not SEA age as yet, and the parent would drop the child off to the gym, and she worked with the child, and then the parent picked the child back up. But when the parent picked up the child is rewarded with a soda, which is a soft drink. The child is rewarded with a snack for having completed the workout. The child is rewarded with this, and the child is rewarded with that. Additionally, when the child is at home, the diet is not well supervised. So you are kind of moving around in circles in working with a child like that. And that is what the issue really is. The support at home for proper dieting and proper exercising and regular exercising seems to be non-existent or very little in many of the homes. Way too many, I dare say, in the Caribbean context. We have gone to a thing of flower power. I see parents are putting up clips on Facebook and on YouTube of their kids needing flour. You know, and I'm saying, I sent a message to one of the parents, why don't you have the child cutting up veggies to do something with vegetable or a little bit of fish or something like that? Why this whole yard of flour, this little child is punching down this amount of flour? So culturally, we have developed a lot of horrible, horrible eating habits and practices. And food has given us pleasure and it has given us solace. So we take refuge in food. We eat food when we are happy. We eat food when we are sad. We eat food when we are celebrating. We eat food all the time. And a child growing in that environment cannot be a child who is going to come out his best fitness level, or a child who is not obese, or a child who is mindful of eating, of serving sizes and portions and that sort of thing. So it is like an epidemic. It's an epidemic. And then you have to twin that now with the parents who are always on the go, the busy, busy lifestyle. So the fastest thing to do is probably grab a pack of hash browns or a bag of fries or whatever, or a KFC, whatever, and you pelt that at the child and you throw a bacon, something, and no real attention is being paid to how this child is eating. So the problem is a cultural one. And it has to involve parents at every level for this trend to be reversed. A lot of times, parents feed their children the best way they know how, and the fastest way they know how, the cheapest way they know how. And that is what the issue is. And that is really, really killing our babies, killing our children. I was saying, when you look at the entrance, the entry level, the 11 pluses when they come to school, many of the students, when I was a physical education teacher, they cannot run. They could barely walk. They cannot catch a ball. They cannot throw. Don't talk about jumping. Absolutely no coordination, no kind of agility skills or coordinative skills, anything like that. So we have to ask ourselves really, really serious questions as young adults who are going to go into parenting, and as parents who are already parents here on this webinar. We have to ask ourselves some very, very serious questions. Are we building a youthful population for the future? Or are we building people to go and fill up our hospitals? So it has become that way, and we have to really, really sit and do deep introspection when we are dealing with our little ones.
Wow. And you know, really, it's an urgent situation. Just the way you explain everything there, it shows how crucial this information is, how crucial these behaviors are. You know, I coined it an epidemic of unhealthy culture, because it's really so etched within our practices. You know, I mean, I don't really want to go down this road yet, but the amount of alcohol we consume, the poor sleeping habits. So when you combine all of it, and then we're not really physically active as we used to be, you know, when you look at the rates of obesity and all these different things that's pointed out by the viewer there, you're seeing a very negative trend, and that is why it could be so disturbing to everyone. But the question is, will you listen to Dr. Ince today? Will you listen to Fadwa Abdul Ghaffur? Would you listen? You know, physical fitness.
I have to add, because it's so important to state that, you know, I see a lot of babies coming to the world, and by the time they reach 6 months, you see them with a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember growing up, we were outside. Our parents were buying bicycles, skipping ropes, we playing moral and hopscotch, all that encouraged the body to move. But now it's in the hands of the parent. They would give the child this device. Okay, you're making noise. Here, look, baby, look. And they sit down and they watch a YouTube video for the entire day, and there's no moving. So you find, on top of obesity, you have a lot of respiratory disorders developing in young people, even when they were toddlers. So my advice is to, instead of buying the latest video game and the latest gadget and the latest phone, buy a skipping rope. buy a bicycle, because it's only recently as we were in lockdown and the pandemic forced us to be inside, I saw a whole group of young boys pedaling through 500. And I was so very happy to see young people outside, whether it's in a group, whether it's by themselves, on bicycles, just rolling through, getting in that physical activity, because we know they're bored inside. So they're going to find some mischief to get into outside. But at least all of them want bicycles. So we need to now start to return to that and start giving our children things that would make them physically active. The PS4 not going to make it physically active. It's not. Give them this. They might stoop when they see the skipping rope or the bicycle, but they will go and use it after a while because they will be bored.
I endorse that 100%. And I don't think there should be one or the other. We know with technology, there will be new habits, new practices. But if you pair the video games, right, with the physical activity, I remember when I was young, climbing tree was like a daily activity.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're getting a lot of physical activity in throughout the day without, it wasn't a gym. It wasn't picking up barbells, but there was physical activity that would help you develop certain, according to Dr. in certain immunities, right? Because physical fitness is critical in immunity, right? And speaking about the relevance of physical fitness to immunity, I also wanted to touch on injury because somebody, his name is Stephen Charles. He really inquired about the right way to treat injuries. Now, we know physically active persons tend to, I shouldn't say we know, but there is the belief that physically active persons tend to heal better or heal faster. Could you all elaborate on that? Dr. Ince, I see you shaking your head, so.
And again, I will go towards an anecdote. My friend who was, he was about 68 when he had surgery for prostate cancer. Later on, he had a surgery for some sort of bowel something. And the doctors were amazed at the rate of his recovery, simply because he is from Tagarigua there, not too far from the Eddie Hart ground. And the Eddie Hart ground was his stomping ground every single morning. Every morning he flew around that ground at least 4 or 5 times, came home, bathed, and then his day started. So yes, in terms of recovery, that is one of the benefits of being physically fit. Your recovery rate is better. You withstand illnesses better. And you just are all around happier. Let me just see if I could pull up some of the benefits here. You have overall improved health. You maintain muscle mass, and your aging is more graceful because of the function. Your organs remain younger longer. You have also mental benefits of being physically fit, emotional well-being, reducing stress across the age groups, across races, gender, and ethnicity. It reduces stress. You have improved self-esteem and improved self-efficacy. It actually improves your mood. So you won't be as grumpy and starchy and all of that. It actually improves your ability to socialize because you become a better social animal. It gives you that sense of community. There are so many benefits to physical fitness that we all should be doing our best, not only to secure our own physical fitness, but to help those in our immediate environment. I know I'm seeing 1 or 2 of my students here on this chat, and I know that these guys are really big on fitness, and not for themselves, but to pass it on to the persons near to them, the communities, groups, family, etc. And that is what it is about. There has to be a cultural change towards physical fitness. If we don't do that, we're going to lose our youthful population. There has to be a cultural change. I live in a country, many years ago, I lived in a country where the Christmas gift was either a bicycle, as Father was saying, a bicycle, a scooter, or a skateboard, or all two out of the 3. And also a trumpet in your yard, a trumpet. So you know you are moving all the time, all the time. And those kids were as tough and strong and sturdy. They ran everywhere, they skateboarded everywhere they went, they scooted everywhere, they biked, and they ran from the primary school that was right up on the hill by me. They ran from the primary school straight into the swimming pool. Every single holiday, they ran from the primary school with their tires and their inflatables and so straight into the swimming pool. And they had their swimming thing there, and they go back and run back to school wet. You know, so it's a cultural shift we're looking for, cultural shift. And we are the ones to start that thing, start that domino thing rolling down from your little cell, your family cell, community cell, and expand that thing outwards. We need a shift of culture.
Definitely a paradigm shift, a positive paradigm shift that is, because it seems in all arenas we seem to be shifting in a negative direction. And just to again lean on the topic of diet, with the more countries develop and this globalization is taking place, the more we see in, this gravitation towards the Western diet, right? And Western practices, which is sedentary lifestyle, right? So we need to stick to what we really have as a cultural backbone, right? In the West Indies, in the Caribbean, we used to have a very active lifestyle, and Shane mentioned it before he left about going on the beach. The beach used to be football, swimming, running up and down, and now it really does seem to be a beer guzzling culture, which is something that works negatively against us. And in the long run, it will have a very, very negative impact on our health, right? And, I see a technical question here. I'm really not certain if the panel will be able to address it, but I'll ask it. If we can, then we'll go ahead, or we could move forward and possibly return to that when we dealing with another topic in another webinar episode, right? The question is from Rochelle Rollins. The question is the anabolic window real? Fadwa, I see you shaking your head, taking up these cues. Go ahead.
The anabolic window is very, very, very real. Meal timings here is so important in terms of whether you want to build muscle or recover from a bout of exercise. That 30 to 45-minute window after you have exercise is very important in building, because while during exercise, your body would have used your stores, whether it's fat, whether it's glycogen, that was now reconverted into glucose to give you that push and that extra energy to do the workout. So you have to replenish. But if you don't replenish properly in that window of 30 to 45 minutes after the workout, then your body will now turn onto itself and begin to use what it has there in order to rebuild. So then you're kind of defeating the purpose. So if you want to build muscle within that 30 to 45 minutes, you want to add things like a protein shake, you want to eat a sandwich or some kind of thing, or some shake between that window until it's time for you to go and have a proper but well-balanced dinner. And even before you work out, about 3 hours before, you would have something that is complex carbs that will be slow release during the workout. Some people even add like a protein supplement before. They would carry their shakes to the gym or whatever it is, and they will have that before that. But you must capitalize on that window, that anabolic window there, if you want to experience gains, or if you want to experience recovery, because sometimes the muscles are sore. And I have experience when I was doing martial arts. I mean, they really drill you, They really drill you. You swear you're in the army. And I remember being sore. And when I decided now to have this protein shake, because in between all of that, I was doing kickboxing, martial arts, fusion, fitness training, and all these different kind of things. So, I would have been very sore. But when I started to use that protein within the window, I realized that my recovery time wasn't as long. And when I included a yoga routine the day after, it enabled my body now to recover from the intense workout before, along with the input of the protein, whether it's a low-fat milk or something like that, because you need the protein. So once you couple diet with a restorative workout after, because you need that rest period for your body, your anabolic window will supersede its expectations.
Exactly, exactly. Well stated. I see we have another question. Now we have about 30 minutes remaining, and there's a lot of content that we could still entertain. So what I'll do, I'll try to streamline it as much as possible. But this question is a simple one, and it again goes toward the topic of nutrition, right? This person wants to know about the negative sides of eating out and the frequency of eating out. Now, before anyone answers, I don't want the viewing public to think, well, you're moving around, you're leaving your house, so that's physical activity to go out to eat. Oh gosh, let me be real. Eating out will have a lot of negative side effects because we really don't know a lot about some of the additives that are placed in some of the foods we eat. But I'll allow the panel to explore this one.
I always believe that you can be in control of what you put in your plate if you mindfully prepare your own meals, because when you go out there and you eat out, you're not too sure what they're preparing, what they put in it, how much of it they put in it, what type of oil that they use, how they prepare the meal, and these kind of things, because it doesn't say so on the menu if you're going to sit in a restaurant and eat. If you're just going, by one of those fast food restaurants, because we know fast food is on the rise, whether it's fried, baked, and these kind of things. And I recently did a post on my page about AGEs, advanced glycation end products, which occur in the body and causes a lot of oxidative stress. When you have charred food, fried foods, all these things, adding what you call free radicals into your diet. And these now puts your body under oxidative stress. So it kinds of causes damage to a lot of internal organs. I remembered some years back, I had a scale that would have, when you step on it, it giving you your muscle mass, your visceral fat, and it actually showed you the age of your organs.
The metabolic scale?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember doing this with somebody, and this person was in their 30s, early 30s, prime. And the scale told that person that their metabolic age, the age of their organs, was 80. And that person got depressed. I mean, real depressed, because they wanted to say, but I fit and I doing all this exercise and I think, so they're wondering, but why it is their organs are like that. Not understanding is sometimes what you put into your body, how you treat your body, how you treat your recovery, and all these things that, cause your organs to age. And then eventually it shows on the outside. It appears on your skin, it appears on the way you move and all these kind of things. So we have to be mindful, because when all the fast food restaurants were closed, we were eating at home. We were in control of what was on our plate. So I didn't understand. It was so confusing to me when all the fast food outlets opened, the length of the lines that you would have been seeing to go back to get this addictive thing that is not good for your health, especially when you're on a fitness journey. If you have a goal, as Dr. Ince said.
Yeah, I would just add one little thing to that. For me, with eating out, and I would just touch, on the cursory side of it. We can't ascertain salt levels, sugar levels, oil levels, all the things that excesses of which are not good for us. We have no way of monitoring and controlling those things. So that's the first thing, right? We expose ourselves to different kinds of additives that often trigger allergic responses in many, many persons. And sometimes you don't know that until you actually line up to go and eat the garbage that the fast food outlets are serving. I want to also point to the social side of this thing. We seem to be leaning more towards that Western kind of culture. I don't know why, because our own foods are not even parallel with what is existing out there. Our own local foods, and Fadwa is really the expert at this, our own local foods rank higher by far than what we are seeing out there in line with the Western things of the chicken and chips and the burgers and the subs and that sort of thing. Our own foods are better, line up better, nutritional value is greater and all of that. The social thing I wanted to point to is that those of us who belong to families, and all of us come from families, cooking is a family time. And I like to give these little anecdotes. Some of my students say I tell too many stories. This morning, I cooked. I cook almost every day, but my husband did X amount of the prep and my son did Y amount of the prep. And I was in the kitchen there managing those two outpost operations to bring the meal together. And it has always been like that. We do it as a family thing, and then we come together and we sit and we eat. And it is a joy. It is an opportunity to spend time together. And you learn how to save. Those of you who are interested in cutting the dollars, and these days jobs are hard to get and the money is short, we should be thinking about preparing simple things. I heard a very, very rich man in Trinidad saying, he was the former president of the Supermarkets Association. And he was saying on television, it was such a wonderful interview. He was saying that, I don't know why people eat out so much. And this is a man who could afford to eat out every single day for every single meal. I do not know why people eat out so much. It's not the healthiest thing to do. It's not the most inexpensive thing to do. He said, I have somebody in my house. I hire somebody to do my prep. And after that, I cook, my family and I, we cook all our meals. He said, some people are spending $80, $100 to go and get food to feed 3 people. He said, why not buy 2 tins of corned beef and a sliced loaf and get your ingredients, your tomatoes, your onions, and so, and make that nice. You're feeding 20 people with what you paid that less amount of money for. And things like that. So the economic side of it, we are not paying enough attention to it. And the social side of it, family time, preparing meals, talking, and enjoying each other's company and so on. We seem to have lost an appetite for that. Instead, we prefer to go and line up for doubles and line up by KFC and all that. And for the life of me, the last doubles I had was in before I had my son, was in 1980 something. The last time I ate a double, I got delivered from doubles because it's something that I did not like a lot. And my sister, my big sister was there and she always got the doubles man and I got delivered from that. I've never eaten that because I know it's not the healthiest thing for my system. I eschew flour. I'm not a flour person and Chana makes me sick because I have food intolerance. I can't do peas, beans and legumes well, right? So I don't eat those things. I barely eat flour and that sort of thing. So you have to build that thing inside of your system, want better stuff for yourself and culturally make a change to what we are doing now if we want to live longer and richer, healthier lives. So that's what I would say about, in addition to what Fadwa just said.
I couldn't put it any better. I really like the point that you tied in because people often complain about the amount of money they pay for healthy foods, right? And I think you touched on how the budget, how people are affected economically, and they don't realize the cost of food when they eat out, when they spend unexpectedly. Somebody passing by KFC and they smell it and they say, "Oh, I must have this," right? You said doubles. I used to love doubles. I really, really did. So it was the complete opposite, you could say, right? But I haven't eaten doubles in 4 years, since 2017, which is pale in comparison to the 1980s when I was born, right? But at the end of the day, that's the point we're driving home, that once you become conscious of what healthy habits are, then you could really take small steps, because that's something we didn't really get into. We talk about getting the expert advice. Let me say, if somebody wants to train to build muscle, like they are vegan, right? But there's a process, and we have to respect the process. Once you're thinking about health, you always try to think long term. You always try to think long periods. A lot of people, they want the abs today. They want the muscles today. Fadwa, sure. You will get a lot of these responses from clients, right? So indeed, we have to look at how we think about health, how we address health from every single angle. And I'd like to move forward with another question we have here. someone wants to know, and I'm summarizing the question, right? With the age, the climate we in with lockdown and stuff like that, you know, we did speak about trying to get expert advice with regards to, you know, the fitness module or model that people choose to follow. So they want to know, how would we incorporate technology into the fitness lifestyle?
In terms of the lockdown, in as much as we are under lockdown,
Yes, because of course, yeah, go ahead.
there are a lot of fitness trainers. I know one in this chat right here who does stuff online. Once you have the clearance from your doctor, you can log on to a trainer, a certified trainer, somebody who is competent and capable, and you can go through your training regimen. For me, I have my personal trainer used to come home to me, and I have stopped that a little bit, but what I do now, I have a little stationary bike. I don't have to wait on anybody. I have a stationary bike. I have 2 10-pound weights, and I have a box of resistance bands. I do my own thing, you know? So there are options. Once there is a will, there is a way. You get a mat, get a foam mat, get a foam roller if you were able to. A foam roller is kind of expensive, and you know, if you're able to, you could, you know, you do that, you roll out your muscles and so do a nice stretch, and then you begin to do your thing. Once you are healthy, as Fatwa was saying, you need medical clearance. Once you are healthy, you can log on to numerous sites on YouTube and do very safe workout. You can consult with Fatwa to get you some yoga, which I don't find is raise my blood enough, raise my heart rate enough, but some people like that. You can get onto yoga, you can do aerobics, you can do all sorts of, there are many, many options. And if you don't want to log on to something and you are more the organic person, you can use your stairwell, you can use your front yard, you can use your lawn, you can, there are, I mean, as far as imagination could go, you have options. Don't limit yourself. It is within your capabilities. Just be a little creative and you can get it done.
I have to agree with Dr. Ince. I mean, there are so many well-versed trainers you could find on YouTube, and you could just log on and get a workout done. I mean, I am a yoga person. I had to reroute the way that I work out based on a medical condition that I have. So I could have no longer done high intensity exercises. So now I had to look for high intensity, low impact. I can no longer do high intensity, high impact. So if I want to get my blood pumping, as Dr. Ince says, she likes the movement, the high impact. No, I would go now and look for, yeah, I used to be a high impact junkie, Dr. Ince, like really. I used to be a high impact junkie. You get me doing aerobics, and after an aerobics class, I am jumping into a kickboxing class, and after the kickboxing class, I am going into a martial arts training session. But now I have to cool my herbs, as we say in Trinidad, I have to cool myself. So if I want that heart racing kind of experience, now I would go and look for a yoga routine that is high impact and high intensity, but low impact. So things like Ashtanga yoga, Vinyasa flow yoga, where you are actually moving your body from one flow into the next. But yeah, I have seen people try to catch the breath in between that because they're moving from one pose into the next. And these poses are poses that now build your strength and endurance, because I remember falling up in a pose and wondering when this man going and come out of this pose so I could take a sip of water, because you're sweating within the first 5 minutes, your heart is going up and you're getting that stretch that you need to get during that workout. So if it is that you could go and you do some tricep dips on your couch while you're watching a show, or you're washing somewhere and you decide, I'm going to do 10 squats here today in front of the sink. Or just before you jump in the bathroom for a shower, you do 10 squats, 15 jumping jacks, and all these different kind of things. So if you develop the right cues, at any point in time, you add a routine to the cue that you get to develop a habit. So it's all about what you like to do and how you're going to get in that fitness.
Indeed, indeed. I agree with you 100%. You know, everything you said, accurate. I love it. And you particularly focus in the end there on something that I really wanted to come to next. you spoke about doing squats while, say, you're brushing your teeth and those kind of stuff. Someone else wanted to know what's the best time of day to carry out exercise. And I would add to that, open close brackets, especially for persons who are extremely busy, you know, because some people are parents, they work in one job, two jobs, and they have a number of activities to carry out. How would you suggest they work out the best time for exercise?
I would say, and this is my personal preference because this is what has really worked for me. I was on a weight loss quest, about a year or a year and a half ago, and I lost approximately 25 pounds, which I needed to anyway. And that was done by working out first thing in the morning, fasting. So I worked out fasting, went to the gym with just water in my system and worked out and came home and had a sensible breakfast. So, and this was the advice of my trainer at that time. And every trainer would tell you that the best time to work out is in the morning. Why? Because it sets the tone for your day. You need, remember, exercise invigorates you and makes you feel active and fit and virile, and you want to do this and you want to do. So you need that energy burst to start your day so that you could meet all the demands of your job when you go out to work. So the best time, ideally, I would say, and Fabian might disagree, I don't know, but I would say the morning time. So people who are busy, if you could hit that thing early in the morning, then you know you have that box checked. The rest of the day, you can do what as you please. However, there are those who prefer to do it in the evening. I am not a fan too much of in the evening because it affects my sleep. When I, it affects my sleep. I remember running 5Ks. You run a 5K, it would start, they say 4 o'clock start. Sometimes 4:30 the race and start as yet. So like 4:45, I am now beginning to run. I am not young, but I'm running. I complete the entire course running. You have to know that by 12 o'clock, I still can't fall asleep because my body is on a high. And that is why I would not recommend the exercise for later in the evening, but there are people who can do it and still have a very, very good recuperative sleep. I am not one of those. So I feel the best thing, hit it in the morning. And if you're not able to, sometime in the evening, if that is working for you. It's all based on what is working for you, but my best advice, hit that thing early in the morning. Get up in the morning, go and do your thing, and get that out of the way. So that's me.
Dr. Ince, I have to agree with you there because I have had experiences where I have worked out to the bone in the evening from 5 to 7 in the night. And by the time I reach home, I am cleaning the house, I'm cooking lunch for tomorrow, I'm going and scrub the bathroom one time because I cannot sleep.
Yes.
So if you get up in the morning and you do that, and you don't need to work out for a whole hour, half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes if you like, once you get that workout in. And what it does, it gives a lot of mental clarity for the day. And I like the fact that you said that you did the workout fasting because there is so many benefits to working out in a fasting state. People call me mad when I went to train for a competition during the month of Ramadan and I was fasting from food and drink. No water, no food. And I trained the hardest between the hours of 9 to 1 p.m. And I never felt better. I was energetic, full of vibe, did all of my katas, roll all over the place, and was still had energy to go home and go and clean the house Saturday morning still. You were at that high. So if you start off in the morning and you get up early, so it requires you getting up earlier. You get up early, you do your 15 minutes, you could probably walk outside, do some deep breathing, oxygenate the body and get that mind clear. And you would see by 10 o'clock, you're still going like the Energizer battery. All after lunch, you're still going. And what it helps you do, it helps your body rest better at night because it's no longer in that building mode that you would have been in because your body still burning in the night when you're sleeping. After you finish doing that hard workout, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we want to be in the gym because we have 24-hour gyms now. And we cannot sleep. And sleep is very important in recovery and prevention of injuries. Sleep is so important for the athlete. You must have at least 7 hours, 6 hours of restorative sleep in order to allow the body to go out there and perform at its best.
Excellently said. And just a quick update, guess who's back in the building? Shane Cooper is back. So just to touch very briefly, because Shane, we're looking to wrap up very quickly, but we have a question here from an athlete. So I guess your timing is perfect. The question states, I am an athlete, but though I stretch after my workout, aim to have a banana after training and foam roll, soreness affects me a lot. What can I do to help with this?
Wow. These kind of general questions.
Yeah, big, but you're still
really,
at the
I'm not a big fan of answering them because I don't just want to be just throwing things out there. You say you foam roll and you stretch afterwards and have a banana, your problem might really be something else. We now looking at things like, the conversation I just came in on, I walked in on cleaning and cooking in the morning, but Father ended with sleep, which is very important, nutrition and hydration. So we always think soreness is a matter of, I did too much work and I did not stretch properly. And that will be the first thing that any coach will look at, or any professional will point out. However, if you realize that this is an ongoing thing, you have to look at the other layers, which goes on to sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? Recovery. Is your nutrition good? What are you missing? What are your vitamins like? Are you getting enough antioxidants? Are you eating too much inflammatory foods? Jamal, is something we've had discussions on. If you're eating too much inflammatory food, then your body is not going to reset properly. The body always fights for what we refer to as homeostasis, or trying to get back to that midline. And if you keep pulling it away and keep drifting in one direction, it's gonna let you know. So probably increase your bananas to 2. Try having a small meal before. So try having a peanut butter sandwich and a banana before you start your workout, and see if that helps. If you happen to take supplements, probably cutting out one of them, because that might also be an issue. We often hear people speak about supplementation, but if you're already getting in all your vitamins and minerals and proteins and stuff through food, then there's no reason for the additional. And some of these supplements have a lot of additives that can have adverse effects. And I am speaking from experience here, because I used to be a creatine protein health nut at one point, until I realized it's really not necessary.
Oh, that's critical information there, because it's always important. I like how you said that the question was big, but your answer was really spot on. You put your disclaimer, which is important, but the general answer, you really went to the key areas where people need to look at. Yes, it's a physical issue, but there are other factors affecting your physicality, right? And so having said that, I would think that's an excellent way to close on this episode. However, I would like to invite any of you all, Dr. Ince, any closing remarks before we get ready to speak about the second webinar, which is on September the 19th at 3 p.m. That one will be dealing specifically with nutrition, and we have had a lot of nutritional points here, and as Fadwa said, it is the center point for health. But for now, on physical fitness, we need to close it off. So closing remarks.
Yeah, what I would say is guys, pay it forward. I get the sense that most persons here are already involved in some kind of fitness something, already have worked towards their best fitness self. What you got to do now is just pay it, pay it forward. You know that expression? Pay it forward. Do something now in your community, in your environment, in your family, whatever. Just like the COVID vaccine, and I don't want to be political here. When you take the vaccine, you're not taking it for yourself. You are taking it because you have family, people with issues, you have community members, etc., etc. So just pay it forward. Pay it forward. Take what you know and share. move it forward to the next level. Okay, that's me.
Okay, Father Abdul Ghaffur, any closing remarks outside of the controversial vaccine issue?
All I have to say is that we have to remember that physical fitness is an important building block for good health and for mental health as well. Even if we have to just squeeze in 5-10 minutes, we must do that because it's important for immunity as well. Your body cannot fight off anything without being strong and healthy. So you have to you have to start to move because a lot of comorbidities are causing a lot of issues presently. And we're seeing a lot of young people developing things like diabetes, hypertension, well into their teenage years. So it's kind of posing a big threat into physical fitness and endurance if you're looking to be an athlete or play a sport. So we have to now go back to the times when we were going outside climbing trees. Once you still have trees in the yard because we're cutting down all the trees right now to build bigger houses. Go and pitch some marbles with your friends, play some hopscotch, moral, skip, these kind of things. So we need to now go back to the things we used to be doing as Caribbean people that ensured our fitness.
Well said, well said. And any final thoughts from you, Shane Cooper?
I tell you, these two young women have this under control, you know, or they did not need me here. Listen, everybody, movement is medicine, and it's proven. Gone are the days of resting, icing, hanging your foot up, whatever the case is.
Compression, elevation, yeah.
Those days are done. We now know that movement is medicine. It's the best way to get blood pumping around the body, and that is what assists with the healing factor. And that is what it is, getting blood and oxygen to the areas. Some areas will take longer, but that is a lot of science. I ain't going to get into in these closing remarks. I really, excuse me, like what Fado had to say with regards to getting out and playing again. And for those with young kids, have that time. We know we cannot keep them from the phones and the TV, but they just have times when you have to say, hey, we outside and pull them away from the devices. So that's me there, literally. Movement is medicine and exercise is accumulative. And what that means is do a little bit throughout the day, it adds up. It may not feel like anything, but yes, you do 5 minutes in the morning, another 5 minutes, 2 hours later, another 5 minutes, 2 hours later. And before you know it, you get up to 20, 30 minutes of exercise and it adds up. Burning calories is burning calories. So don't always think it's just about putting an hour aside. If you could just put 5 to 10 minutes aside. So
excellent, wonderful. I really appreciate all the contributions here. I feel like we really did a good job in compressing a lot of crucial information into a brief time period. I would encourage all the viewers. This is only part one, and you see, we are jumping from topic to topic. Even though we're focusing on physical fitness today, we had to really, engage with other areas. And so September the 19th, 3 p.m., we will be focusing on nutrition, but most likely we will have to, connect it to all the other groups, all the other factors that really make us healthy individuals in the Caribbean. So I'd like to thank all the panelists. I'd like to thank Caribbean Insight. And most of all, I'd have to thank all the persons who are present and who came, who signed in, whether it was for 1 minute, however long, we appreciate it. And so from us to you all, live a healthy life, get good advice, listen to Shane, listen to Fadwa, listen to Dr. Ince. So this is us signing out. Thank you for being a participant in this webinar, and hope to see you soon.